Hey guys, it's Matt. Today we're going to talk about a very special statue to me because it really hits me in all the nostalgia feels. We're going to talk about the animated series Batman statue from Sideshow Collectibles. It's a really unique piece and part of a really fantastic lineup of statues. Let's get into it. As is normally the case, I want to talk about this fantastic art box. Sideshow always includes a really gorgeous art box that comes with your statue. It's like getting an art print. However, it's applied to a large box, and you can display them if you have the room. I unfortunately don't, so they go into storage, but I do like to give them a look. On this one, you've got this fantastic larger-than-life photo of the actual statue itself laid against a graphical representation of Gotham City with the Batman the Animated Series font title right here at the top. Now, they haven't stylized this picture of the statue very much as they sometimes do, but I think that's because they didn't really need to. The statue's so heavily stylized in and of itself that it blends well with this flat looking background that they've given it here. That Gotham City skyline motif goes all the way around the box, and then you've got the title of the series right here. You've got the Animated Series Collection. That's a collection of a number of statues that Sideshow's putting out with animated figures as their inspiration. On the back, you have a different view of the statue running towards you with this large bat symbol in the back. Got a little bit of this graphical stylization here, and sideshow.com at the bottom. It's similar on the other side, but not the same. And then on the top, you've got the Batman the Animated Series logo. I thought that was a neat addition because that's a very unique logo that I remember from my childhood. On the bottom of the box, you have the number matched edition. Since these are numbered statues, the box actually matches that number. This is number 375 of 600. So this is the exclusive version, and it comes with some extra swap outs that we'll talk about. We'll start with the assembly of our statue by putting on this incredible base. Now, from where you're sitting on camera or in photos or anything like that, this might look like a very simplistic base. And it is. It's very linear and blocky in its design. It does evoke the animated design style pretty effectively. However, I was surprised when I got it, opened it up, and gave it a good look. There is a lot of paint detail in this piece that you don't really see when you're looking at photos. There's gradations, there's different applications of finishes that give this a lot more depth than it really should have based on the sculpt alone. It is very, very linear and gothic in its look. To me, it really calls out some of the Art Deco designs that you would see on the Chrysler Building or other New York architecture, but it's done in an animated style. You've got some subtle details in here like this scalloping, and you've got some really cool little shields. That's where one of the bats goes. It's just really well done. The bottom is absolutely beautiful. Now, if you've ever been inside the Empire State Building, you'll see designs like this, and they've included that in this whole layout, and it's designed specifically for this bottom. This is one of my favorite base decorations of all the statues that I have. You've got this really cool Batman silhouette here. You've got the numbering 375 of 600, and then Batman statue. This is not a premium format, this is a statue. So it's roughly around 5th scale, not quarter scale. Okay, the next piece we've got is actually Batman himself. This is his body. It's one single piece, and it has a very large and long peg that comes out of his foot here. And I'm assuming there is a large rod that goes up here into his leg. And then this cape, which is sculpted, counterbalances this forward lean. It slots in here on the base and gives you a very secure feeling piece. Next, we have his hands. Now, this is the exclusive edition of this statue, so it does have an extra swap out right hand, but I'm gonna start with the collector's edition. We have 2 fists that slot here with magnets and large pegs and keys, and it's very easy to assemble. So there's Batman complete with his collector's edition fist, and then you also have this exclusive edition fist, which has his bat claw. I really like this. This bat claw is very, very detailed. And there is the exclusive version of Batman. The last detail we're going to add before the statue is complete are the bats. These are Batman's leathery winged friends. And these are really cool the way that they've set these up. The bottom of each bat has him coming off, well, the bottom of two of the bats has him flying off of one of the appliques that are on this base here. And they fit in there with a magnet so that it looks like the bat is just literally sitting on the base. It's a really neat way that they've hidden the attachment point, and I think it's very clever. This one in the center here has a little peg key that goes right here in this slot. And that little bat looks like he's flying in midair. And there you go. There's the completed exclusive edition of Batman the Animated Series. And one more time, there's the collector's edition. The difference isn't huge, but this Batclaw is a neat little addition that I think sets the statue apart if you're interested in getting the Sideshow exclusive. I'm gonna leave it that way because that's the way I like it the best. All right, let's get into a little bit about my impressions of this statue. I clearly remember when they announced the animated statue line from Sideshow. They had the voice actors from the animated series come on Sideshow Live and talk about the pieces. I thought they were really, really cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to add them to my collection because my collection tends to be realistic representations of the comic book characters. These are a little bit different, but I made the exception in this case because Batman the Animated Series was very important to me when I was a kid. I remember when the Keaton Batman movies came out and I was so excited because I was a Batman fan. It's great sharp detail in the base. You've got these bats. The bats, you can see that the bats actually have some shading in the wings here, and you've got some translucency painted in. They've got ears and eyes painted on. Very, very detailed. They've really given this piece a lot of love. You have this fantastic Batclaw. Wonderful shading details all in here. So while it's an animated maquette, there's a lot to it that brings it into the real world. The artists at Sideshow are fans of this stuff themselves, so they give it the respect that it needs and deserves. The portrait on this Batman looks exactly like I remember the animated series looking. He's just so fantastic. He's got the Frank Miller inspired dark bat right here, which is slightly sculpted in. It's not just painted on. You run your finger over this, you can feel where the bat is. His belt, he's got pouches all the way around on his belt. And this yellow is muted. It's not too bright, so it doesn't come off as too cartoony. There's some subtle details that are sculpted into this statue that you don't get on the animated design. You've got a seam that runs down Batman's tights here and along his torso that shows where the suit is sewn together. The simplified anatomy on his torso looks exactly like the animated show. It's got me really excited about this line. I'll probably end up getting a few more pieces from it. My overall feelings on this statue. Is it a must-buy? I'm going to say yes. This one is a must-buy. If you are a fan of Batman, this version of Batman is so important in the lore of the Gotham universe, especially if you're around my age and you saw the show when it was actually on TV. Even if you only have the realistic Bat versions from Arkham City or you have Sideshow's own Batman premium format, this one just fits in because it's so iconic. So yes, at its price point of $425, while that's expensive, it's affordable as far as statues of this size go. It would look really great out in a living room. Its more simplistic design is kind of subtle and a little bit easier on the eyes than some of the more hyper detailed pieces. So I think if you have guests over, they'll really get a kick out of this piece, especially paired with Superman or maybe a Harley Quinn or the Joker from this line. Just a fantastic display. So he's still available both in the exclusive version and in the collector's edition. So if you go on Sideshow and do a search for animated Batman, this will come up. Throw one on a payment plan or pick one up now because you're not going to see statues of this type, of this quality, of this version of Batman very often. And I don't think it's going to happen again very soon after this one is sold out. Happy collecting!